Hey everybody, today I want to show you a new software tool I've been working on called Parametric Studio. It's a browser-based app for creating parametric wall art with a focus on CNC and woodworking workflows. If you already use CNC CAD software like Vectric VCarve or Carveco, this is meant to fit in before that step. The goal is to quickly generate the design, preview it in 3D, and then export files that can be brought into your normal CAD or CNC workflow. The app is free to try, so you can experiment with the design tools and see if it makes sense for the type of work you do. Let's walk through it. When you first open Parametric Studio, you'll start in the Design tab. This is where most of the work begins. On the left side, you can set the artwork size, slat count, slat width, spacing, slat depth, relief depth, and minimum web. These are the core settings that control the physical structure of the artwork piece. So, for example, if you wanted to create a 48-inch by 24-inch panel, you can set that size, choose how many slats you want, and control how deep the relief should be. If you're working on something much larger, you can scale the artwork up and use more slats to get a finer, more detailed result. The 3D preview updates as you work, so you can rotate around the model and get a better idea of how the slats will actually look as a physical object. You can right-click or press the mouse wheel and drag to rotate the view, and use the scroll mouse wheel to zoom in and out. Next is their pattern preset area. This is where you can quickly generate different surface styles. There are presets like wave, water ripple, ripples, rings, topographic, cloth, grain flow, starburst, vortex, craters, and also a face preset. Each preset gives you a different starting point. Some are more organic and flowing, while others create a more dramatic relief for repeating forms. The idea is to let you get into an interesting design quickly, without having to model each slat manually. Below that, the pattern adjustment controls let you fine-tune the result. You can adjust pattern strength, pattern scale, X and Y position, rotation, and whether the pattern runs horizontally or vertically. Pattern strength controls how much relief is applied. Pattern scale changes the size and frequency of the pattern. The X and Y controls let you reposition the pattern across the artwork, which is useful if you like the design but want a different area of it centered on the panel. There's also a Sculpt beta tab. This is more experimental at the moment, but it lets you manually modify the surface after starting from a preset. You can use tools like raise, lower, erase, and pinch to edit parts of the pattern. This is useful if you want a little bit more control or want to customize a design beyond what the preset gives you. There is also a text tool, so you can add raised text into the pattern. You can adjust the font, text size, depth, and XY position. This opens up some interesting possibilities for signs, logos, shop art, or personalized pieces. Once your design looks good, the next step is fabrication and export. This tab is focused on turning the design into something useful for CNC work. You can set up sheet size, sheet orientation, edge margin, part gap, and whether you want support pockets or support tabs. The app lays out the individual slat profiles on sheet material, and each slat is numbered so you can keep the parts organized after cutting. The support pocket and tab features are meant to help with assembly. For example, if you want to mount the slats onto backing strips, the app can add features to the backside of the slats to help with alignment. The full version of the software can export SVG files and STL files. The SVG export is intended for CAD workflows. You can bring the SVG into your CAD software, set up your toolpaths, and then prepare the actual CNC job. The STL export is useful if you want a 3D model preview or want to bring the design into another 3D workflow. also great for rendering. The full version also supports saving and opening design files. That means you can save a project as a local JSON file, come back to it later, make changes, or keep different versions of a design. The free version lets you try the design experience, experiment with the pattern tools, preview the model, and see how the workflow feels. A few features are disabled in the free version, including SVG export, STL export, and saving or opening design files. So the free version is really there so you can test whether or not the tool fits your workflow before using the full version. For me, the main use case is speed. Instead of spending a lot of time manually creating these slat profiles, Parametric Studio lets you quickly export different parametric designs and then move into your usual CNC process. It is especially useful for wall art, acoustic-style decorative panels, feature walls, shop project signs, and experimental CNC pieces. If you do try it, I'd recommend starting with a smaller panel first, maybe something like 48 or 24 inches, and then experimenting with the presets. Once you understand how the pattern strength, scale, slat depth, and relief depth interact, it becomes much easier to dial in the look you want. As always, with CNC work, make sure you review the exported files carefully before cutting. Check dimensions, material thickness, tooling, feeds and speeds, and make sure the design makes sense for your machine and material. I'll leave a link in the description where you can try Parametric Studio for free. Thanks for watching, and if you test it out, I'd love to hear your feedback on what features you'd like to see next. Thanks.